Today on the Gospel Cast, young Felipe from Poland returns, and we're going to just go deeper with him, hear his story, learn a little bit about youth culture in Poland, and wherever the wind takes us. All this and more. Come back in just a sec. Welcome to the Faith to Faith Gospel Cast, where we talk about all things related to God, faith, missions, leadership, side hustles, and what Jesus is doing in the next generation. I'm your host, Tommy Ashiro, and I want to welcome you to the program. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button and come back for a new episode each week. With all that said, let's jump into today's episode. Well, Felipe, nice to have you back here today. I'm going to try and pronounce your last name. I've got it written here. I'm going to first spell it in English. Wawrzyniak. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Okay. So that sounds a little bit like Wawrzyniak.
Wawrzyniak.
Let me try it again. Wawrzyniak. Wawrzyniak.
That's the American version.
Wawrzyniak. That's not it.
That's not it. You have to pronounce the W's with
All
the
right,
V.
pronounce it your way.
Wawrzyniak.
I'm not saying that. Hold on, let me do American spelling. That sounds like V-A-V. Say it again.
Vav.
Okay, V-A-V. Continue.
J.
That's not a word. I'm just going to write she, because that's the closest equivalent we have. Vav, she. Okay, we'll throw some H's in there.
Nyak.
Nyak. Yeah, we say that when something's not good.
I know.
All right, so Vav, she, nyak.
Yeah.
Wawrzyniak.
Wawrzyniak. You have to add that j.
That's not real. All right, let's try it.
It's not a word, but...
Hold on. Wawrzyniak.
Yeah.
I said it?
Yeah.
All right, what does that loosely translate to in Polish?
So if you would say warzywniak without the second V, you would say like a store that sells vegetables.
VeggieTales.
Yeah.
So we have Philip the vegetable on the show today. That's so great. Philip the Polish vegetable. I feel like it would be more appropriate if your name meant sausage or something like that, because that's more
Or like
Polish.
a tomato. No, potato.
Or pierogi or something like that.
Pierogi.
That's the only
I've
thing
never
I know
heard.
that's Polish. What? You've never heard of a
Like
pierogi?
someone be named Pierogi.
You've never heard of someone named pierogi? I don't know what to say about
You started with the pierogi.
No, I wanted to know about being a vegetable your whole life. No, but seriously, is it really mean vegetable?
Yeah, it's very close to a vegetable.
Very
so
close.
Yeah, when I started
So like a fruit?
No, like a vegetable.
You said it's like close to a vegetable, so I thought maybe you meant a different category.
No, like the word itself. It's almost vegetable.
I see.
So
okay.
Yeah, my friends call me warzywo, warzywko. So it's like a veggie.
They call you veggie.
Some of them. Yeah, but I like it.
Felipe veggie.
So in my high school.
Well, your hair's got the broccoli thing going on.
Yeah,
so
that's why I'm called vegetable.
Yeah. Because you got the broccoli look going on. Got it. Okay. Well, off camera today, we have a couple of friends. Kyle is in the studio audience. I guess he's in the peanut gallery today. I think we might.
No, I have a
M&Ms.
microphone. I'm not in the peanut gallery.
I left him in the
and
M&Ms.
Josiah Maloney. All right. So you grew up in Poland. You're from Warsaw. We knew that from the last time you visited.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about growing up in Poland.
So I'm going to start off with it's gray. It's super gray all season. Like, the sky, the weather.
Yeah.
It's like the color gray. If you could imagine, I wake up every day. This is the color.
Is that only at certain times of the year, or is it?
You can
like
say
all
that,
year?
but I think it starts like during fall. It starts and it goes, I don't know, maybe until March or something.
So half the year is gray.
Yeah.
Every time I've been there, it's been pretty nice most of the time.
When you
the sun is up all the way, like comes up at 3 a.m. and then ends at like 10 p.m. or something like that.
That's summer, right?
Half the year. I mean, that's when I come. Yeah. What's it like to have the sun come up at 3 a.m.? Does that mean you guys get out there and
like
do
a holiday.
farm chores early?
Oh yeah. So my parents, they used to every time like in the beginning of spring, I was like, "Oh, okay, the sun came out. You can go to the garden, help me mostly my mom. She's like she's totally like a garden person.
3 a.m. though?
No, not 3 a.m.
Oh, okay.
3 a.m. But 7 a.m. Yeah.
7 a.m. That's normal time. Most people are getting up at normal time. I'm sorry to disappoint you by letting you know that. The world kind of wakes up 6, 7 a.m. People get ready for the day. But mom just sends you straight out to get potatoes and whatnot. Does it get confusing when she tells you to go work? Oh, you don't have vegetables.
No.
Okay, well then that clarifies things. Because if she was like, hey, vegetable, go get the vegetables. Like that would get confusing.
I want to remind you, she's also Wawrzyniak.
I know, a whole family of vegetables. That's why you can't grow them, because there'd be so much confusion and someone might get sold in the market or something like that, and that's not good. So I think not growing vegetables. What kind of things do you have? Chickens?
No, we don't have a farm.
Oh.
It's like, I don't have
Oh, you said you had to go work in the in a vegetables. Garden. Okay, in the garden. But garden without vegetables? What kind of garden is this?
Plants.
Oh,
flowers, plants.
Plants.
We even have like
What's the word for plant?
Plant roślina.
That sounds nothing like your last name. All right, so there's no relationship there.
But yeah, Kyle, he lives in a, I don't know, you could say countryside. So it's like, north of Poland.
Yeah.
And it's very nice there.
Yeah.
He's like throughout the whole week. Then
it's like a vacation town, isn't it? Yeah.
Then he comes back to
It is.
I mean, it actually is sometimes.
Yes, where I run summer camps.
Yes, where he runs summer camps.
Yeah, I mean,
and he lives most of the year.
Yeah, he lives
the nicer months, right?
No, he lives like
he comes to Warsaw
throughout
the
week. No, he lives like he comes to Warsaw every weekend.
To Warsaw every week.
Sometimes Monday and Tuesday.
Yep.
Sometimes.
Like once. Got it. So he has a vacation home and a work home. Goes back and forth between.
They have a bathtub, like wait.
Banya.
Yeah.
Do you guys do
That's
the banya?
not a Polish word. We have a sauna.
Do you guys do banya like Ukrainian style in Poland? Have you had that before?
No, I haven't.
I heard they beat you with sticks.
No, with branches.
No, branches, sticks.
Like birch branches.
But Kyle, and it's like very.
Do they like to do the banya thing in Poland or no? Oh, it's like a hot room where they beat you with sticks.
It's a sauna.
I'm not lying.
I hate saunas.
A sauna with branch beating.
I hate saunas.
Yeah.
But
no, we don't like. I mean, most people
do. Just you don't.
I just hate it. It's hard to breathe.
Yeah. I don't think heat is good for vegetables.
I don't know.
I think it causes them to
Every
wilt.
morning after you come out of the bathroom, there's a sauna in there.
Ooh. Crop dusting. Philip's trying not to laugh. We're just going to follow this vegetable trail as long as it'll go.
I bet you will.
Yeah,
I bet you will.
We'll come up with everything. Filip the cucumber. All right, so Filip, you grew up in Poland with a garden. Do you live in the city, though?
Yeah, we live in a suburb, but it's the, it's the capital.
You live in the suburb of Warsaw?
Warsaw.
What's Warsaw like?
It's tough sometimes, especially please, Kyle, don't look at me. There's like so many people there, but so many people. It's,
okay.
Like you get up. I mean, like
so like we live close to New York, like New York kind of people.
Uncomparable.
Yeah. No, actually, not that much. But there's like so many people actually. Every morning I get up and go to school. I'm taking a bus, like a public transportation, full. It's so full. Like if COVID would broke again, they would be the first place to spread out. It's like
on the bus.
Everyone's like packed. It's super super crowded. Sometimes it's hard to breathe.
Sometimes it's hard to breathe.
Yeah. So there was one time we were like riding the bus and like in the center, and one woman she got on the bus, and she was like started screaming, "It's so hot in here, so humid. Open the window." Then she went to the driver like. I don't know, punched the the window.
Punched the window?
Punched the window, that separates.
You're not giving me a very good impression of Poland right now. Old ladies punching things.
Yeah.
All right, continue.
And she started like screaming, "You have to turn on the AC or something." But it was I don't know, in the middle of November, so it was cold, and she's still like cold outside, and she still was like she went crazy.
All right, so you've been to America how many times?
This is my fourth time.
Fourth time. Yeah. So maybe you can spot the differences. Like, what are some major differences between Poland and United
we shouldn't
States.
go down this path.
Yeah,
Yes, we
I'm very
should.
interested. I'm very
Okay,
interested.
so I'm gonna start with this. If you order a large cup in Poland,
A large what?
cup of any kind of
cup.
drink, yeah,
Cup, okay.
you get like pretty decent, like amount of drink. Then when you all order like like large cup here, you get
It's
like
actually a large.
it's double size. It's double size.
I mean, it's a large.
Everything
It
in
is
America,
unhealthy.
everything in America,
Is large.
twice as big, twice
Right.
as fat. It's super crazy. It's
Well,
Have you
know
been to
what's funny to
7-Eleven?
me? Poland has a lot of space, a lot of land, and you guys still put such small roads everywhere. And it's like you have the space to build a proper road with proper breakdown lanes and proper.
why do we
You
need
could even
like
have bigger because it's a big country, and
not as
when-
big as states. You guys have like
it's big enough. I
So-
mean, it's big enough for you. Like if Poland were a state in the United States and we had to squeeze our big cars down those little roads, like we'd have big problems.
we don't have as big as cars, as big.
I
Cars
know.
as
I
you have.
noticed that.
Yeah.
But Polish people aren't that much smaller than Americans. There's some big Polish people out there. Hey, there is some big Polish people.
Yeah, like
I've seen them.
1 in 20. And
I mean, you can try and make a ratio about it, but I'm just saying, if there's 20 people on the road and one is big, all 20 people are going to be waiting. All 20 people are going to be waiting. So, or if you're on the bus, hot bus, big bus, and you said it's a full bus, and 1 in 20 of those people is a big Pole, it's going to be a big, sweaty, smelly bus.
most
Am
of
I
the time
right?
it is.
Yes, exactly. Point taken. So, with all this space, why you wouldn't widen things and make bigger vehicles, bigger roads to accommodate people?
I think we don't have that. Like I said, like compare. If you compare like cars, even cars, we don't have that big cars. And
I know. I noticed that.
yeah,
It's
but
weird.
It's super weird. Like
And yet you build highways for animals to cross over freely.
They're bridges, not
the-
highways.
They're bridges.
Well, whatever. Like you got like a whole overpass thing with trees and greenery, and those things are huge. So the animals have plenty of places to frolic, but the people have to drive like in clown cars. Like
I haven't actually given a thought.
I'm trying to help you think about it, so when you go home, you're going to be very confused. The other thing, I do like it that Poland's been developing over the 20 years I've been going back and forth to Poland. There's been many changes. So you're growing up in like a pretty modern,
Yeah, pretty much.
developed. Like all the highways are nice and clean.
Yeah, and compared to American, we only have like 2 lanes on a highway,
Yeah.
but we can go like 70, not like 60. We can go super fast, and still people don't don't
I mean, in
keep.
kilometers.
I'm speaking like miles per hour.
You know how to do miles? Okay.
It's really not that complicated.
Yeah.
I don't know what he knows and what he doesn't know.
Europeans are generally smarter.
Maybe. He's a young European, and his name is Vegetable. So I feel like I have some room to play around.
But you are wrong. There's highways that have 4 lanes in Poland.
Hardly ever.
He just has.
the A highways, like A1, A2.
Yeah, if you say it, but
He's just
we don't
he's
use
just a
them often.
suburban boy from the city. He doesn't who rides the bus. He doesn't know.
A suburban boy from the city?
Yeah, that's a bit of a oxymoron.
Well, suburbs of the city.
Although he does play up where he lives to get rides home from youth group every week. He's like, oh, it's outside of the city a little bit. Can you bring me home?
but not as outside of the city as some guys in our youth group.
You started it.
So what? You start the first ride, and then all the other boys get a ride too?
I'm like an Uber every Saturday.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so my mother at some point she was like, "Oh, should we give money for gas to Kyle?"
Should.
It's like every.
And you said no?
No, I said, yeah, we should.
What happened to that?
I wanted to give
He
it
probably
once.
pocketed it so you
Exactly.
could get some sweets or something before youth group.
No, McDonald's after youth group.
McDonald's after you. Is that the
Yeah.
preferred meal for Polish people?
No, but even having McDonald's like after youth group and like it's
Yeah.
pretty often. It's like every week.
We keep doing that. There'll be 1 in 5 will be fat in Poland. It's what we did
That's
in
the thing.
America.
We're
Yeah.
not getting fat. I mean,
Well, they will. Give it time.
Our
no,
McDonald's,
our
is much
McDonald's
healthier.
is super nice.
Your McDonald's are much nicer.
Yeah.
When I go to a Polish McDonald's, I'm like, oh, this is what they were referring to in the commercials in America.
Oh yeah.
Because they are actually
So
properly.
when me and Kyle, we were in New York, and
Oh.
it was like first night. I was like super tired, We made like 17 miles.
17 and a half.
17, yeah, miles. And we're like, oh, let's just go to McDonald's and eat. I mean, that was my idea.
That was his idea.
Kyle tried to do everything to stop me, but I was like, nah, let's just go. And I
Yeah.
tried it. It was awful. It was super, super awful.
Okay, so there's a few places in America that do this, but one thing that really freaks me out when I'm in Polish McDonald's is when I go to throw my trash away. Like, I understand recycling and trash, but then sometimes you have like 3 or 4 receptacles, and I'm like, where do I put my stuff? And none of it is in English, so I'm just like, the blue one, the green one,
Then you look at the graphics.
There's
the pictures.
it's still confusing. There's stuff that's like on the fence. All right, tell me what each one is for.
So the blue one is for paper.
Okay.
Then the yellow one is for plastic.
Or metal.
Or, yeah, plastic metal. And the brown one is for, like...
Poop?
I mean...
Well, actually,
Trying to match it up, color code it. All right.
Yeah, but it's like for leftovers, maybe some
like
food.
biodegradable
Yeah,
stuff.
like bio.
So poop. Okay, got it.
And it's called inene, which means other. So most of the people just throw it there.
Yeah.
Inene.
I wasn't far off.
You don't understand that. But
Okay, so the word is inene.
Yeah,
No.
I'm not going to repeat it because it's just going to put
it
me in a
means
bad
it just means like everything else.
everything
Yeah.
else.
So most of the people just throw it there. They don't
Got
really.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, but at this point in McDonald's in Poland, basically everything's paper.
Yeah.
Everything's
Pretty much,
paper?
almost.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much put everything in the paper.
Oh, didn't you guys have paper straws?
Oh, it's so horrible.
Awful.
It's the worst.
It's like
One
like-
seal gets it stuck in its
like
nose,
gooey
and now
and-
we all
oh.
have to drink out
So
of paper.
squishy and mushy.
squishy, mushy, gooey.
It's
I
disgusting.
love the taste
You like
of
the
wet
word gooey?
cardboard.
Tom,
It's so- what did you say?
you
There's
like
too
the
many-
word gooey?
I mean, I don't have a relationship with the word gooey.
It was
but-
mentioned.
You
on the
called
last
Kyle
podcast.
gooey
Yeah.
last time.
I did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compared me to a gooey M&M, which doesn't exist.
A gooey M&M, that's fair. Well, like if you leave it in a hot car with a big pole, I mean, sitting on it, it will be gooey.
I would say American.
Well, we were talking about 1 in 20,
Okay.
so that's where I was going with that.
Fat Polish. Fat
Fat Polish.
fat Polish people are like just big compared to American fat people.
I don't know what that
No,
means.
just okay. So
There
fat-
is a different level of
a fatness.
obese.
Oh,
in
no,
the
there's
States.
definitely some crazy roly-poly people.
like
Like when you go to a store here, there's like you can rent a car or something like
you can't rent the
can,
car.
like-
You get it for
okay.
free.
So you like drive around like beep beep. You get like
Wait, what?
no when you're
You know, like
super
when you go to
fat.
Walmart
When
and
you're
you
super
can't
fat.
walk well, you can get the carts and drive around.
Oh, the cart. I thought you said you could rent a car. And I'm like,
Cart.
what does this have
I
to
said
do with
cart.
anything?
We don't
okay.
have those in
Yeah.
Poland.
And like all the people get annoyed when
Not
you
yet.
drive around.
You guys are really aspiring to be American in every way, so I think in a few years maybe you'll have.
Stay out of my country.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a
You guys are going and see, and this is the thing that is cool about Poland, but also is troubling. Is I feel like Poland is reaching for America all the time to be more and more like us, borrowing
Yeah, that's
money, doing these things, more fast food. I mean, it might be a little better, but eventually,
We'll see.
I feel like the bad things about America spread faster than the good parts of America.
That's true.
Yeah.
Good parts of America, like what?
Aren't you the
Freedom.
one talking?
Joking,
Are you the
okay.
one
For freedom.
talking about?
Freedom.
How about freedom? How about freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of lots
That's
of freedom?
everywhere.
We have all of in Poland.
To a point.
Actually, this is an interesting thing. I'm sorry, I don't want to interject that much, but it's an interesting thing because
Here we go. Do we have a camera for?
no, I'm good. I'm good.
Kyle?
I would argue.
He was right there.
Just listen,
We'll
Philip.
draw him in.
Oh, great. I would actually argue that like Polish teenagers, for example, have more freedom than American
yeah.
teenagers from a younger age as well.
In what way do you think you have more freedom?
Okay, so first of all, it's not that our parents trust us more. It's like
No, it's not.
they care less, and what by that I mean they don't really care about where you go and
Not
what
as
time.
sheltered, but
Yeah.
For sure.
But I have a feeling that Polish parents, number one, the divorce rate is not nearly as high in Poland as it is in America. So, number one, kids going through divorces get a super long leash to do all kinds of crazy stuff in America, like crazy stuff.
That's
And
true.
then parents are spoiling them because they want them to
Side
Yeah.
side with them. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, as a general rule, our country is super promiscuous. So I have a feeling that's not flying in Poland the way it flies in the U.S. now.
It is.
You think it is?
It is.
Promiscuity in Poland?
Among teenagers, not all of them, but yeah.
You think it's as bad as it is here?
It depends where you are.
Yeah.
But for when I like to go back to what I said, like even young kids take by themselves public transportation to go to school and come back by themselves.
Yeah.
Where like we need to put our kid on the school bus, take them off
Well,
the school
in the
bus.
cities, they take.
Yeah, but this is
public-
everywhere in Poland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smaller country, though, in that sense. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that more in the city centers and stuff, it's more like that, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But true in terms of travel and allowing people to move around freely like that, you know. But that's not because it's against the law. It's because of the way parents are. So depending on the way your parents
Yeah,
are.
I mean, I'm not
Like
talking
how
about legal
the
freedom.
society is.
I'm talking about legal structure.
I'm talking
Kids-
about practical freedom.
Yeah. I'm talking about what you're allowed to do as a citizen. Is you can go crazy in this country with that kind of stuff.
That's true.
Yeah. Yep. So from that framework, if you remove the Christian part away from it and you just think about America in general, anything goes in this country. More and more and more. And it's super crazy.
That is actually crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. So, and Polish people are more conservative than American people. So even, I know that the young people coming up are trying to be less, but the society as a whole is held together by a more conservative. Now, granted, things have just swung in a very conservative way in the U.S., but
It also really depends on your definition.
of conservative?
Yeah. Because Poland, as a government system, is not more conservative. In general.
Culturally conservative.
Okay.
Culturally conservative. Very Catholic
Oh yeah.
as well. Right? Kyle's got so many things to say off camera.
Sorry, I'm done.
Editing
I'm
this show is going to be shockingly hard. It's going to be
You're
super
welcome.
hard.
I'll shut up now.
There'll be lots of things that disappear from this episode, I'm sure. Okay, so we can always reframe the shot if you want to contribute to the Polish dilemma. All right, as a young person in Poland growing up, what's the hardest thing that you find about growing up in Poland?
About growing up, like the hardest thing.
Yeah.
I would say the education, like schools and stuff. It's awful. I mean, like,
The schools are awful?
yeah, you can say that because there's so much pressure put out. Like even from the, or like fourth grade. It's like when you start school, and all the teachers, everyone, like principals, they put so much pressure. I mean, it depends on the school, of course, but the level must be always high. And so many people are trying, but they're just failing. They cannot focus, or they're having a hard time. And most like in high schools, I know like people that are in the very the fancy ones that on top in the whole in the whole country. So they're just going on drugs in school because they cannot do it all by themselves. They don't have the strength.
Too much pressure?
Too much pressure. Yeah, too much pressure.
Mm.
And there's a lot of maybe not aggression, but there's like so many bullies and so many violence. I mean, not like violence, but there's a lot of I don't know how to say it. Like there's pressure, and because of the pressure, it reacts on the on the teens and everyone. So we not we, but I'm gonna say as Polish teenagers, we just react on everyone else. So we take the pressure and put it sometimes into violence, and that's how we taught to deal with, because in the school we don't get to talk much about feelings and how to deal with emotions. So we just put we have some fights, and like I said, so I know people that take drugs in school because they cannot carry this pressure. And it's awful because the teachers, they don't care about you. They just care if they get paid. And they don't even care how well you do in your tests. They're just you're just like a number to them. Like, in their notes, you're just a number. Like, I have friends here that tell me, "Oh, our teachers are so nice." I have I don't know, his social media, and like we text a lot. No, you can never. I don't think if you like if there's any person in my school that ever like open to a teacher or like ask for a deep like help, like real help. It's not that popular.
Hmm.
We're just like left alone. We have to do everything by ourselves, because when the teachers I heard like the teachers here in America like, oh, we're gonna like let's work together, like they're very engaged. In Poland, the teachers are okay, do this and this and this, and if you're done, just do whatever you want, and they're not engaged at all.
Hmm.
And I'm in high school that's like pretty high in the ranking, and they don't care. They just the principal of my school, it's a woman, and she just wants very very good scores. She just wants to be on top, and she doesn't care how much it costs. She just wants a score, and that's all that matters mostly.
So you feel a lot of pressure when you're in school?
I do.
Yeah.
I do feel pressure, but so our schools are not Christian at all.
Yeah.
So there's like Christians, but they do know like, oh, maybe there's something like above everything in the clouds, and we like a God, but they don't care. So they don't have the values. They don't have their principles. They most of the time they don't have even boundaries. So they're just like left alone. Do whatever you want, just pass this test, and they cheat a lot. We just like cheat a lot, yeah, on tests and everything.
Wow.
Yeah, because
You said we cheat a lot. You cheat on your tests?
I did,
Philip, this is going on the internet.
but it's
bro.
okay. I know, but I think like Polish education system should face that. It's hard for us to understand the topic when the teachers are just like reading their notes super fast. They don't even get like they're not even giving us time to make our own notes.
So what do your grades look like?
My grades are very good actually.
What are the equivalent? A's?
A's and B's.
A's and B's.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your worst subject?
Worst subject? I don't like biology, but it's not that it's hard.
That was a tough one for me, too.
Yeah, but it's not like it's hard. The teacher, she doesn't care. And if I say she doesn't care, she just doesn't care. She was given a topic. Okay. She I hate this type of teaching when the teacher just like reads. It's like a great monologue. And it's not like a boring monologue. It's super fast, and she doesn't point anything. Like, okay, this is important. You shouldn't write that down. She just goes through the stuff.
It's not a monologue. It's a monologue. That's what he
Monologue.
said.
Okay.
Yeah, when they're moaning while they do the monologue. Right?
Yeah, and so my class. So when I was applying for this not college, sorry, for the high school. So I applied for the classes that are bilingual. So we also have in English. And sometimes when we don't know the words, the teachers they're not even saying the meanings of them. They're just saying like these crazy like smart words, and we're like, what is this? We don't understand. And even when we like raise our hands, can you explain that, teacher? They're just like, no, they just continue going. And I know like the words I'm saying right now, like talking about school, it's not the same everywhere, but it's very common. It's super common in Polish school to be like this.
I think
Peanut gallery.
no,
has
sorry,
something
but
to say.
there's an important context. He's right in general. There are good schools and there are good teachers, but in general, what he's saying is right. But the system of school is super different. So in the States, you have a lot of opportunity to do hands-on things like experiments in chemistry, etc., etc. And in Poland, everything is just theory. There is no practical application. It's just theory. Pass your exam, go. And it's pretty hard. I've seen kids pass out in public or on the bus after taking like their big like sort of SAT exam, literally from the stress of it, just pass out.
That is super crazy actually. And here in States, you can like choose what you want to like study and everything. And in Poland,
You keep comparing it to the States, and this is what I mean about Poland reaching for America. The American education system is not better than the Polish one. I'll tell
Okay.
you that right now.
but
It's not good.
I know, but the difference is here you have like more space. I think to make a mistake and everything.
Sure, you can make all the mistakes you want, straight up to.
And
Did you know that in America, 20% of freshmen across the board either fail or drop out?
really,
National statistic.
Also, the letter grading system is way different in the U.S. than it is in Europe.
I
Yeah,
bet.
That's true.
Like A is 90 to 100,
I mean-
B is 80 to 90, C is 70 to 70.
Yeah, I
70
know.
79.
Why are we doing
D.
this?
Okay, but no.
Why are you taking us?
It's
through-
not that different. In Poland, it's pretty the same. Just like we use numbers, we don't use letters.
Yeah.
And
It's because Americans are dumber. We have
Yeah.
to just go
No, I'm
ABC.
just-
And we also use numbers here sometimes.
okay, but
Yeah, but then it's equated to a letter because the numbers are too complicated for us.
but why am I like comparing it? It's because you guys saying, oh, it's bad. Like education is so because it's different. In Poland, we say it's bad because it reflects really bad on our on our health, on our mental health and everything, because we're packed in the school. I mean, like 1,000 kids or like 1,500. We're packed in a school, small school most of the time, 8 hours straight from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We go to school, it's dark. We come back from school, it's dark. We just have to, we're packed, like 32 kids in one class. We can barely even, fit. And it's like from one school to another, we have 5-minute, breaks, like 10-minute, 5-minute breaks, like short recess. It's sometimes hard to get to another class on time because it's so packed. And that's why it's bad. Maybe the scores and the rankings are pretty good because we have to learn a lot.
Performance.
Yeah, performance, exactly. Thank you for the word.
Yeah.
But it's really bad for us. And like we said, here in America you can make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, you can goof off. You can
But
fluff through and not.
and in Poland, you're taking a test. If you fail, you have one chance to write again, and you have to get at least above the above the F. So here, so our grade is 1. It's like you failed. So you have another second chance. That's your only chance to perform better. You have to at least get a 2. So it's like a D here I think.
And what happens if you get if you fail the second time?
Okay, so it means you failed, and in the end of the year, this this one, so this failed test counts as it takes your grade down. So in the end we have here you have report cards and we have the same. So it takes the whole subject downgrade. Even if you have very good grades, but you fail this one test, it brings your grade down. It decreases your grade, and it's bad.
So you got to work hard.
We do gotta work hard, and sometimes even though we're 8 hours in school, we still have to stay and we still have to revise for everything, read through everything, even when we come back home. So sometimes we stay up really really late just to make sure we know all the other material.
Yeah. So this is critical work. Critical difference between the two cultures. From my perspective in our culture, I'd say we need a little bit more of that. We need a little bit more pressure and hard work because we don't do that. We don't. And I understand why you'd want it our way, but then you wouldn't know things.
I think the easiest summary between the two is in Poland there's one standard for all students, and
Sure.
you must meet that standard or you fail. And that failure from elementary school or in middle school, it affects your high school, which then affects your university.
Yep.
Whereas here, you can get good education if you want it.
Yeah.
You most certainly can. You can choose AP
Yeah.
classes, IB classes.
Sure,
But
there's a pathway for that. Yep.
in my high school, I did almost all AP classes. I had a good education.
Mm-hmm.
But
Kyle's from the 06
but-
355,
but
just to be
the
clear.
the critical difference is here you have the choice not to do that. You have the choice to take the easy way out and just, even graduating the easy way out with, basic level classes. Whereas there they have one very high standard for all students no matter what. And everyone's held to that standard. And that's the big difference between the two systems.
And like all the teachers, all the the principals, they want for everyone to perform as good as the other person. So so they want, not no matter like what you're going through, they don't care. So you have to perform at some level, and it's pretty awful because every like teen, every kid needs different, like different type of learning, because we're not all the same. It's like because there was one time I was thinking about the stuff the Polish people like have to, like Polish teens, we have to like go through in school. It's like they're giving us a test, and it's like all the same questions for everyone, and some of the people know it, some of them don't, because we weren't like prepared like as well as the other people, because the teachers they have to, like I said, they have to say what they have to say, and they just don't hardly ever do some extra. And there was this one analogy, if you could say that. So there was elephant, monkey, and a fish, and it's like compared to educational system, and there's behind them is a tree, and the teacher, like the examiner, has like one question: climb the tree. The same question to all of the all of the animals. It's like they have to like do it. Will they?
So if you're a vegetable in this equation,
Yeah,
what do you do?
that's the problem. How? Yeah, that's the
I
problem.
understand what you're going for. You
Yeah.
pick a different animal. Some
Mhm.
animals can climb the tree.
Some
animals
cannot.
Yeah. And if
And-
you're a vegetable,
I
they
don't think
say,
you even understand the question.
Listen, I do understand the question. The thing is I heard that vegetables actually can sense things and communicate and different
Yeah,
things.
I heard that too.
Someone's podcast was saying that there was a study done that that even a potted plant could sense when the person who planted them was coming back within like 4 kilometers,
That's
5
crazy.
kilometers away, and they could sense it coming, which is crazy. I know,
Mhm.
it's crazy.
Yeah, but what I said was, you cannot
So I'm
like.
just trying to assure
Mhm.
you that being a plant ain't all that bad.
Mhm. So yeah, what I said was I think like the Polish government of like that carries take of education. They know it. Like everyone needs a different like help, but they cannot offer it because there's so many people in the schools, and they still manage to give everyone the same questions, the same like assignments and everything, and I don't think they even want to you know help make a difference or like change something. So they're just leave it like this. And I think that's one of the biggest problems in Polish schools.
Let's shift gears to talk a little bit about Ukraine. And even though Ukraine's a different country,
Mhm.
like you guys, it's the next country over, and that country's in war. So like, how does that impact your upbringing? Because I mean, you said what? How old are you again?
I'm 15.
You're 15. So what's this war been going on? 3 years now?
Almost.
Almost 3
Yeah,
years.
almost 3 years.
So pretty much your whole, young adult, young adolescence upbringing, there's been a war going on in the next country. How's that kind of impact your
Mhm.
feelings of safety, just growing up in
So-
Poland?
Yeah, so we have to start with this. When the war broke out, Poland was the first country to, bring all the hostages, like open the borders.
Refugees.
Refugees.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Hostages.
refugees.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh no, hostages. Oh, I didn't mean that. Okay, sorry.
Not hostages.
Refugees.
Yes.
We opened the borders for almost. Then it was probably like 2.5 million Ukrainians.
That was
Something.
5 million
Oh, now,
at the
in-
beginning.
Like just in Poland, that stayed there. I think
no,
was
he's talking about who stayed.
who stayed. Yeah,
More than 5 million transited through Poland,
Right.
like through the Polish
Right,
border.
Mhm.
right.
and I'm talking about the people that stayed. So we were the first country to open the borders. We helped a lot. We gave money. We gave, all the armor and stuff. I mean, not all the armor, but because America gave most of them probably. But we're the first country to actually help.
Yeah.
And with all this going on, Poland, maybe like even at the risk of something going on inside Poland, because so many Ukrainians they weren't like documented or something like this. I don't know how to say it.
So basically, the border was opened to everyone, regardless of
Mhm.
having a passport or any documents. So, it was wartime, so anyone could come in.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where he's going with it, but that's
And,
what he's
okay.
trying to say.
And Polish people opened their houses for Ukrainian families and single people.
Mm-hmm.
We in our house, in my family's house, we had one woman. My mom was going to the Israel. It was before the war in Israel also, and she had a flight, and something was wrong that she didn't have a document to go there, and she didn't know what to do, so she stayed at the airport. My mom, and there was one woman at the airport also. She was crying, and my mom came up to her, and she was Ukrainian, and they started talking. The woman, she was going to Dublin, but they didn't let her through to her husband, to her fiance, and they didn't let her through. And my mom, she was like, "How can I help you? How can I help you?" And to remember, my mom, she also wasn't accepted. Wasn't accepted, but they didn't let her through also. And they bought it as fast as possible ticket to Dublin for this woman, but the ticket was 1 week, 1 week away, and this woman also burst into tears. She didn't know what to do, and we opened our house for her, and we spread the gospel. We told her about the good news and everything, and before the summer this year, she got married, and she invited all of us, all of our family, to Italy.
Wow.
Yeah, and I know that if the plane that my mom couldn't get onto, if she could get onto this plane, she wouldn't meet her, and maybe she wouldn't ever heard the gospel.
Wow.
Even though it's not really a Christian country, but we opened our houses, we opened our borders, and I think we could still give Ukrainians the credit of love,
Yeah.
the care, because we don't know what they're going through.
And just to be clear, there's plenty of Polish people still helping
Of course,
Ukrainians,
yeah,
right?
of course.
And still doing good things.
Oh yeah.
So what about the attitude towards Russia since the war? How do Polish people feel about Russia, even though things are now maybe a little bit strained with Ukrainians?
So I think no matter what, no matter what is going through Poland and Ukraine, between Poland and Ukraine, there's still this. I don't like the word hate, but there's still we don't like Russians. They attacked our our border friends. It's not without any reason. They just attacked them, and we don't like Russians. So in the European parliament, you call it parliament, or so there was one person in particular they were Russian, and they were speaking out public for everyone. When they had when they were given the microphone to speak, almost whole room left.
Wow.
We don't respect Russians.
Yeah. So are there Russians living in Poland that you see around?
I don't really, because it's hard for me sometimes to recognize the Ukrainian and Russian.
Oh, because some Ukrainians speak Russian.
Some
right?
Ukrainians exactly speak Russian, but no, it's not very common, I think, to see that many Russians live in Poland.
Okay.
It's very uncommon.
Yeah.
And I would probably add the dislike of Russia pre-exists the war.
Yeah.
Far pre-exists the war. And although Poland does actually physically have a border with Russia, not mainland Russia, but with a Russian enclave, that border was immediately closed, fully closed. And I think after the war started, I've seen one or two Russian license plates where they've even taped over the Russian flag and tried to make it look as little as Russian as possible, because they know the discrimination will be there. But there's not many Russians living in Poland.
No.
So is there any concerns? Is there any worry now that we're 3 years in? I know early on Poland was what if we're next? Is there still a lingering feeling in the back of people's minds in Poland that Russia could attack Poland?
I think maybe it's not very common to talk about this, but
Right.
sometimes, yeah.
Well, we're here in America, so
Okay.
you know.
Of course, there is some something that still keeps us Polish people that thinking like maybe I don't know Putin like what his plans are because he's a crazy guy.
Mm.
You never know what he's going to do next. So it's hard to have like this credit of maybe like we never know what's gonna happen from him, and that's actually pretty hard. And me, I'm gonna like give my example. Uh, sometimes I am kind of stressed, but it's not like unhealthy stress. It's like this might happen, and we never know when it happens. And it's gonna be like I'm gonna share with you guys something. So throughout the whole trip, like a couple of years, like back, I had like pretty often dreams about war going on,
Mm.
and
You mean when the war first started?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and like all the dreams, like I could see like oh okay, the war is about to break out. It's already out, and it's stressful.
Mm.
Especially when I wake up after the dream, I'm like, I'm so glad that it's not like broke out yet.
Yeah.
And so in the past, I had like last summer, like 1 year ago, I had a dream before like all the war in Israel and Palestine. I don't know how to pronounce it in English. Sorry. I had like a dream, and there was like all these buildings damaged after war and everything's like crazy, like you can sense the war. And there was like after like there was like this dream like couple months. I forgot about this, and then in the like September when the war broke out in Israel, there was like some news in the TV, and I could see the image that I dreamed about. This this building this particular building, it's damaged, and with this experience, I'm pretty stressed because I had a dream about this exactly, and it was war. Then it happened. So me right now, and whenever I dream about war and stuff, I'm pretty stressed, and it's hard. I'm not like terrified. Oh no, what's gonna happen? Because I have peace because I have Lord, and I can see that the peace that Lord gives me, it's over everything. It's above everything.
That's cool.
That is super cool.
All right, so you've been here in America now it's been a couple of weeks, right? So what have you been up to? What have you been doing?
So many things. If you could ask Kyle, if there was.
I don't want to ask Kyle.
Okay.
I want to ask you.
Okay. If there was a single day without the excitement out of nowhere, I would like it was every single day. I was excited about something.
What have you been doing? What are some of the things?
Okay, so when we so first of all, our trip started like in Warsaw, and we flew to London.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to hear about London. London.
it was super nice. Okay, just tell you,
Skip
it was
London.
super crazy.
Blah blah
Blah blah
London,
blah. Okay,
London.
okay.
You
And when
like
we-
London. What are you talking
Okay.
about, Tom?
And when we flew to Connecticut,
Yeah.
here to Boston, we had like a couple of days like relax, chill, and then the first weekend we went to Boston. I was super crazy. I was
Go
super
back to your first couple days because
Okay.
this part of Connecticut is not. This part of Connecticut is not the city. So you flew into Boston and come immediately to like a pretty spread
chill.
out,
Yeah.
quiet area.
So first
So-
of all, I've never been to northeast side
Yeah.
of America.
Yeah.
So like New York, here, Connecticut,
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, and everywhere. So I've never been here,
Mhm.
and I was like in the beginning I was super excited to experience the older part of America.
Mhm.
And the moment we like you said we came here, we drove in here from the Boston, I was like, wow, it's different than
It definitely
middle.
looks different than
It
Poland
looks
for
different,
sure.
yeah.
And other parts of America too.
And not saying me and Kyle were super jet lagged. The first night me and Kyle we woke up around like 3:30 a.m. It was super hard to fall asleep. I didn't even fall asleep that day, and I was pretty dead throughout.
And then
the whole
actually
day.
we came to your house. That was
Yeah.
that was the day of our like staff meeting. Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
day
The
after we
next day?
landed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
so,
that's right. Yeah.
so we had like this trouble sleeping.
You had a
maybe-
nice lunch that day.
It was super nice lunch. It
It
was
was
super
okay.
nice. Thank you so much. It was
I
very
wasn't
nice.
looking for a thank you. I was just saying you had something nice to look forward
Yeah.
to.
We'll see what lunch is today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and
We'll
it was nice to experience because I think this trip is as closest as possible to like normal life, every day, like the most common thing, and I really enjoy it. I really like it.
Was there snow when you rolled up?
I mean, not when we came here, but there
Yeah.
was snow.
Oh, you did get to see some snow.
Yeah.
I mean, there's snow in Poland, so who
But
cares?
okay, so I've never been to America during like Christmas season,
Yep.
and it was my first snow in America. I was super excited.
Do
I was
people
super
light their
excited.
houses in Poland like they do in America?
No,
So just
Not
getting
really.
to see all the lights in people's homes is nice.
yeah, it's not very common though.
No.
Because in Poland, most of the people live in like blocks, if you could say,
Mhm.
Apartments.
apartments. Yeah, like not that big houses.
Mhm.
So you don't have like a driveway, like no trees next to your house. So you don't really have the space to decorate it. But that's what stuck out to me here, and I love it. I
That's
loved
cool.
it. Yeah.
So what did you do in Boston?
Okay, in Boston, oh, really enjoyed Boston. So that was like a first big city in the Northeast that I've ever like been to, and I think that we went like walking around with Kyle. We went to Little Italy. It was super nice. It was super nice, vibey. And then when we came
Did
back,
you just say vibey?
vibey.
Okay.
You can say that. That's a word.
He can
It's
say
like,
that.
from
I just
vibe.
it's
Okay.
just making sure there wasn't some Polish stuff getting slid in there that I wasn't.
No,
paying
no,
attention
no,
to.
no.
All right.
And then we went back to the hotel. Okay, so when I checked, like what's going on in Boston, the time, like the days that we're there, there was like Boston Celtics game going on, and I was like, oh, that is super nice. I could like experience the town when it's like everyone's going to a game. I wish I could go there, but I don't think so. And it's like, and we're like chilling in a hotel. It's like pretty dark, and Kyle's like, oh, what do you want to do in Boston? And he like gives me the phone. You can search up anything, and I look at the phone. There's like notification, tickets to Boston Celtics and Chicago Bulls game. I went crazy.
That's cool.
I went crazy.
Do you like basketball already?
I love Boston Celtics.
Really?
I do.
Because they're winners. That's why.
No, actually, it's not because
Oh,
of their winners.
okay.
And I told this story to Kyle. Do you want to hear it?
Maybe. I mean, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm
Keep
gonna
telling.
make it quick.
Yeah.
So around 2 years ago, I was watching like some basketball and stuff, and I saw like Boston Celtics playing some random team.
Mhm.
They were losing. They were losing by a lot. But there was one particular player that I really enjoyed, like watching. It was Jaylen Brown. I loved his jump shot. It was super crazy. And even though they were losing a lot, I was like, yo, this guy is crazy. I love him. And then I checked like other like games, even though it was like middle of the night in Europe.
Do you watch other teams or
Not really.
no?
No.
So you saw Jaylen Brown and then you became a Celtics fan.
Yeah,
immediately.
and that was the previous season, the season before they won.
Mhm.
So then I woke up at the playoff game around like 2 a.m. in Poland, and I was like watching, oh, super excited for the game. And then there was like one play. I was literally a couple of seconds left, and the Boston Celtics like came up with such a crazy like play. And I remember I couldn't fall asleep. I was like super like, oh, excited. What's gonna happen? And then they won, like with this play. It was super crazy, and that's how my Boston Celtics the bond started.
Oh man.
And it's not because they like winners and everyone, but I just like
Same thing for me. I mean, I kind of took a break from basketball for many years, but sometime last spring, I saw some kind of Instagram reel or TikTok video that suggested that Anthony Edwards was Michael Jordan's love child from some secret mom. And I was like, no. But he kind of looked like him. And I started watching him play ball, and I was like, no. So last month I also went to my first NBA game. I was in Oregon,
wow.
and the Timberwolves were playing the Portland Trailblazers, and the Trailblazers usually really suck. But for some reason, they were doing really great that night, and they destroyed
Wow.
Timberwolves. But I still came to cheer for Ant-Man, and I was cheering for him very loudly, and the crowd was getting very angry at me and started to boo me. And one guy yelled, "Go back to New York!" And then everybody who was with me kind of moved away because they thought I was going to get
Yeah.
beer chucked at me.
That's
So
crazy.
it was a fun experience.
Yeah.
So did you guys have good seats or what? Where were you guys sitting?
Okay, so after the Kyle like showed me the tickets, I was like straight like saying no way, there's no way. I was super crazy excited for like 1.5 hours, and it was amazing. So when we went to the TD Garden, walked around a little bit. I took some pictures, close to the court, and then we had tickets, pretty high. But the thing is, we had the whole court. We could see everything that happens. It
so
was
you were
amazing.
like looking at the court horizontally.
We were
Yeah.
half court.
Yeah,
We were half
okay.
court.
Just
It
up.
was super
That's cool.
nice.
That's
Even
cool.
though the seats were pretty high.
Well, it's sometimes nice to have a
It's
pretty
very nice.
not nosebleed, but like
yeah, it was very nice.
yeah, that's
it was
cool.
super nice. And in the end of fourth quarter, okay, so a spoiler, we lost the game, but in the end of fourth quarter, I went downstairs. To one of the sectors that are really close to the court. I was standing there, maybe waiting for someone to empty the seat to just walk away. And it happened for I don't know, 5 minutes, last 5 minutes of the game. I went literally down the court, almost the line between the court seats.
Yeah.
I sat there, took so many pictures. You can see you could see me on TV, with the phone, picture. It was super amazing, to get the experience of being so close to the players that are your favorite players. I was beyond grateful.
That's cool.
That was so amazing. And I think Kyle knows. I'm really grateful for it. I was so happy to go there.
So then you went to Boston. You got to do a couple things, and you went to New York as well, right?
Yeah. So
What'd you do in New York?
New York was super nice. Okay, so we came back from New York last Saturday, and the trip to New York was after Christmas. So the first day that we went to New York, we made 17 and a half miles.
We walked. We didn't
walked.
We
Walked.
made 17
Yeah.
and a half miles.
Guess how many pictures I took? Throughout the whole
17 and a
trip.
half? I
No.
don't know.
Throughout the whole
Mile.
trip. Pictures.
In New York. Only in New
3
York.
days. 3 days.
I was thinking one picture a mile, but maybe it's more than that.
Okay, just guess.
9 million. I don't know.
No, okay.
So it's not 17. It's somewhere between 17 and 9 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I made 952 pictures.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I took.
Let him say it the way he wants to.
I
It's
took.
things
I'm
for us
trying to
laugh
improve his
about
English.
later. Yeah.
Okay, what I say? I'd say.
You said you made.
I took.
You're making everything.
950
You're
pictures.
like the creator of the universe. You made miles. You made pictures.
Okay.
You made shishi.
Okay,
No, I don't
so
know.
952 pictures. And I was literally walking around picture, every picture, vlog time, because I post
Vlog time.
Yeah, because
Uh-huh.
I do vlog times all the time. I take out my phone, big vlog time. Hey guys, everything in Polish for my friends, because I have a private account on Instagram, and it's just super nice, super crazy.
And so, what did you do in New York besides take pictures?
Okay, so
And
actually,
walked
I was
17 and a half miles on the first day.
yeah, I was
That
super,
doesn't sound
I was
fun.
crazy. I was excited about
Did you
everything.
walk the Brooklyn Bridge at least?
We did. Oh,
Okay,
Kyle hated that.
that's cool.
Kyle hated that.
But the Brooklyn Bridge is iconic.
It is.
Did you get to the place where you could take the cool photo?
called
Yeah, the
Dumbo.
Dumbo.
Yeah.
But we did that on the last day.
Okay.
And
Good.
the first day, we were walking around everywhere, taking pictures. It was super nice. We went to Grand Central. Our station was in the Grand Central.
Mhm.
So many pictures there.
Mhm.
Then we went to our hotel. We waited for pretty long. So we were walking around everywhere. We went to see this small park on the water.
On the boardwalk on the west side from
Mhm.
the High Line down to Lower Manhattan.
Yeah, and it was super nice. Then we went on a walk towards Lower Manhattan. We went to 9/11 memorials. I really like.
Kyle has to do that every year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He shared.
It's
shared
like a
it with me.
normal. Yeah, it's a normal.
Yeah, and it was
tradition.
very good to to go there, see all
Get to the good part, man.
So the thing is, he knows what you did in New York, and he's waiting for you to say one
Okay.
specific thing.
Okay, so
What happened on the second day, Philip?
second day. Oh, second day was crazy.
Yeah, so what happened?
Wait, let me. Okay, I wanted to.
How you?
This is painful.
This is really painful. What was the surprise in New York?
The biggest surprise in New York. We went to Lower Manhattan. We went to Lower Manhattan.
Yep, that was a surprise.
Okay, but wait. I'm curious because Kyle has been he's talking. Oh, I have a surprise for you in New York. I have a surprise for you. I have a surprise for you. I'm like, bro, just tell me. No. And we went there. We're walking around and see the port for helicopters. I'm in my mind that would be crazy actually. And walking, we're passing by it and it's I'm like asking Kyle, where are we going? And he's like, oh, just to the bridge. I'm like, what bridge? And then he started like turning to the helicopter port. I'm like, no way. Like jumped, I bumped into him, and I smacked his phone on the
My
ground.
brand new phone.
His brand new iPhone.
Did you break it?
No.
That close.
Ooh.
And then
You would have
we
been
on-
thrown out of the helicopter.
we
That's
went on
what
a
would've
helicopter ride around.
That's ridiculous.
That
Kyle's
is-
never
that
taken
is
me on a
actually
freaking
ridiculous.
Helicopter
You know,
ride.
you could see all of New
That's
York,
junk.
all of Manhattan. I couldn't actually believe that I'm going on a helicopter ride all around New York. It was hard to believe. And I took so many pictures. I look so excited in all of them. And just like the possibility to see this beautiful city from completely different perspective. It's just amazing. Like, you know, when you see all over social media, like this nice, you know, views from like up in the air, like, you know, the drones and everything flying. This, I could experience that, and it's super nice.
What do you go back to after your trip to the U.S.?
To my bed.
Is there really nothing going on back in Poland?
Oh no, I have to learn a bunch of stuff because I can see right now that my teachers, they gave us already some exams.
Well, they're probably going to give you more when they see this podcast. They're probably going to be like,
Yeah, that's not much.
that kid doesn't have enough stuff to do.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm gonna probably fall asleep. Maybe invite a couple of friends over.
Go to youth group the day after we come back.
Really? No youth group?
I mean, I miss youth group, but sometimes I'm just tired of one fella next to me.
When did you start getting serious about your faith in Christ?
Serious about faith.
Yeah.
So 1 year ago.
It's only been a year? What were you
Let me
doing
finish.
before that?
Let me finish.
Jeez.
You know,
Okay. Go.
us as Christians, you know, like me as Christian, me and my siblings, you know, we grew up in a Christian household, very like nice Christian. We learned the values, and our parents, they put a lot of work in to make us, you know, very like, you know, good Christians, to understand the Bible, to know the Bible, and to know Jesus. And for people like me, it's sometimes hard to pick a moment in our life when we started treating faith like, you know, actually like very serious. And, you know, there's always been, because, how to say it? So our faith, I think, believing in Christ, it's not like, okay, this is the time I started believing. It's like coming back and forth. That's why, you know, okay, I'm close to God and I love it. But then, like, you know, you start like a little bit drifting away. But at some point, you always make the circle right to the Christ. And my life, like, you know, till like last year, it was pretty much like this. I had like some struggles. It was tough. Sometimes I didn't even like, you know, believe, oh my, I did. So I mean, like, I failed again and again. I don't know if every time, you know, after some hard time, I'm like, okay, it's gonna be okay now, Christ. Jesus, it's gonna be okay. I'm not gonna fail you again. It's not gonna happen. Every time in our, like, you know, in our life, you're gonna fail at some point. And the most important thing is what you do after the fail. If you get up, or if you just stay there and just don't care. And last summer, like, you know, last year, we went on a youth camp, like a pretty big one, like 2,500 people. Like, you know, only, like, you know, the youth and teenagers. We went there with a youth group from States, from Kansas. They're really, like, close people to us. We loved them so much. And the youth group leader that was there is like a close friend of ours for a very, very long time, of me and my sister mostly. And at some point, that was the point in my life that was like, oh, I don't know, God, I'm keep failing. I cannot just do it. I don't know what to do. And in that point, I've never opened to someone. Not a single time. So I was like, you know, holding everything inside. I didn't know what to do. So there was one night after the, you know, when they preached the gospel, like, you know, the good news and how to turn back to Christ. After this night, I went to the leader, and I just standing there. He was like, how can I pray for you? And he is the close friend of ours. And I just couldn't say a word. I kept silent. I standing there because I didn't know what to do. I've never shared anything. I never opened. And he just started praying. And during that prayer, I could feel the tension, like, the weight coming, like, coming down, leaving me. I could feel it. And when he ended up praying, I opened, I shared everything. And the accountability that I could, like, experience from this leader was amazing. That's what should be really, really important right now. And after, like, this night, I was, like, thinking about my life is not the same anymore. There's a change. There's something new. And in the end of this camp, I took the decision, and I made the decision to be baptized.
Oh, cool.
So I got baptized. It's okay. So the campus is in Nebraska, the Lincoln University, or like University of Nebraska. It's like a small pond. Water maybe the water level is to your knees. So I had to sat there. Water was up here, so I almost baptized myself. But then it was so amazing. I could feel like.
Oh, you
it's
got
different.
baptized in Nebraska?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty wild.
Yes, it is. But and I think some people might have thought, oh, it's like because of the emotions, you like the experience. It was nice, but it wasn't really like your decision because you experienced so many things. I wouldn't say that. From this day, from the camp, I could feel there's difference. There's difference. I have a lot of peace. I have joy, and there's not. You cannot say, okay, you're so happy because of what? There's like not a good reason. Of course there is. It's Jesus Christ. I could actually understand it. And even though like the whole year was it was also like facing some trouble, but it wasn't I don't have anything else. Like I don't have no one to talk to. I opened to many people. I opened to Kyle, and last last year after summer, I think me and Kyle like became like really close because of me, like as student and a leader. And I could see that how how this decision, how Jesus changed my life. Even though I knew him before, I loved him as much as I could, as I possibly could. I didn't understand what faith I think really is like. And now I know. And I love it because he gives me Lord gives me the unconditional joy, unconditional peace, even though there are hard times. Of course there are. Because the hard times are making us who we are. Because if we wouldn't have anything, any trials, any hard times, we wouldn't be able to be here. It's amazing how actually, faith changes people.
That's cool.
That is actually very cool.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
It's not about who I want to be, but who Christ wants me.
Ah, come on.
That's a great answer, Philip.
Oh,
I
wow.
approve.
I fully rely on God.
That's cool. But you don't have any interests, things you want to pursue? Like, what are you thinking about? I know you're still a little on the young side.
I know, but I think we talked about it with Kyle. So
Not here.
okay, but I want to
This is
bring
on
it
the
here.
record.
Yeah, so not like lately, but in my life there was this thought about, okay, so there are two ways in my life. Which one should I bring? The one that I don't know what's happened, I don't know what will happen. It's like fully relying on God, and missionaries, anywhere where he wants me to be. And there's the other one, fully educational, universities, just focus on the world. And when I thought about it many times, I'm stressed about the way with all the world.
Which path? Yeah.
The path, all the educational, everything, money,
Yep.
and everything. I'm like more stressed about this than the part when I don't know what's gonna happen. And this peace comes from the Lord, because I know that if I choose to fully rely on God, He's gonna give me everything I need. And even though us as people on earth, we want so many things, but we don't understand we only need things that God wants us to that God wants to give us. And that's why I want to, as much as I want to choose the path for the Lord, there's still I'm still young, so I still have to go to school, and I still have to, pay enough attention to like on during classes and everywhere. But I know that he's going to put me on the right direction because I am going to choose the way that he wants me to choose.
It's cool. So you're undecided. This is a long way around to say undecided.
I mean, not like undecided, but I'm still like at the point that it's not that I choose the like both of like either way. But I know I'm going to the direction that he wants me to go.
That's cool. Well, we'll be interested to see how the next few years develop for you, Philip. Felipe. Sorry, I said your name wrong. No, Philip is actually the right way to say his name. So we'll keep an eye on that. Maybe we'll see you on the mission field or at a camp or in a helicopter somewhere else in another city. It depends on how generous Kyle's feeling, I guess. How many days? Look, he's giving me evil looks now.
9 days left
Get that on
in
that.
States.
9 days?
9 days.
What are you going to do with the rest of your time?
So we're going to Washington, D.C.
Oh, that's it. Done. Philip, thanks for coming on the show today, and maybe we'll have you back sometime.
It's been a pleasure.
Amen. See ya. Next week on the Gospel Cast, we found an OG from Christian TikTok. His name is John Ford. Join us.